Ever seen a balloon float away into the sky? And you just stood there, staring, wondering where it was going. You couldn't stop thinking about it, right? Even long after it was gone. Now imagine you are that balloon. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is not explain yourself. Wait, what? That doesn't sound right, right? Since we were kids, they told us, say sorry fast, make things right, don't leave people confused. So we grew up thinking, if someone feels unsure, we should rush to fix it. But what if that's not always true? What if not giving all the answers actually makes you more powerful? What if leaving space makes her feel more? Let me ask you this. Have you ever read a book and the last page was missing? You closed the book and thought, no way. I need to know what happens. It drove you crazy, didn't it? That's exactly what happens in her mind when she doesn't get closure. Her thoughts start running. Did he really care? Was he mad? Why didn't he say goodbye? Is he thinking about me right now? Her brain becomes a storm of questions. And guess what? You're the center of that storm. But most guys, they panic. They start texting too much, calling late at night, saying things like, I just want to talk, or let me explain. They think giving clarity will win her back. But the truth is, it pushes her away. Because when you chase her with words, you take away the mystery. And when there's no mystery, there's no magnet. But when you let silence do the talking, she feels something she can't ignore. It's not about being mean. It's not about playing games. It's about holding your power. When you don't rush to explain, she doesn't get to close the door. And when a woman can't close the door, she keeps looking back at it over and over again. She checks your last messages. She replays your voice in her head. She remembers your calm eyes, your steady energy. And she wonders, why is he not chasing me? And that question burns. Because deep inside, she expected you to chase. She expected you to beg. She expected you to make her feel powerful. But when you didn't, you flipped the script. You became the one who's rare, the one she can't forget. And here's the wild part. Even if she left you first, even if she pushed you away, if you stay calm, if you stay quiet, if you don't give her closure, she'll be the one feeling it more than you. Because she needs answers. She needs a clean ending. She needs the puzzle to make sense. And when she doesn't get that, her heart stays open. Her mind stays busy. Her emotions stay attached. You become the mystery. And nothing pulls a woman in like mystery. So, don't try to explain everything. Don't try to fix what broke. Just stand still in your power. Be the man who doesn't chase noise. Be the man who lives in peace. And watch how her heart starts chasing you. Are you ready to see how this tiny shift can change everything? Have you ever walked into a room but forgot why you went in? That weird, itchy feeling, like something's missing. Like your brain can't rest until it figures it out. That's exactly what happens when a woman doesn't get emotional closure from you. Now here's the secret no one tells you. Women crave stories that end. They need to understand the why behind your silence. They want to label it, wrap it up, lock it away in a box with a little bow so they can move on. But if you give her that neat little ending too fast, you let her go. You hand her scissors to cut the string that still ties her heart to yours. You say things like, "It's okay, I understand. You deserve better. I just want you to be happy." Sounds kind, right? But deep down, those words give her permission to let go, to feel like she's done with you. And when she feels done, she won't look back. But here's where your power lives. When you don't explain it all. When you don't give her the final goodbye. You leave her mind open, like a page with no last sentence. She keeps wondering, what happened between us? Was he hurting? Did he stop loving me? Or maybe, is he still thinking about me too? She starts remembering the little things, how your voice made her feel safe, how your eyes didn't lie, how you never begged, never chased, never folded. And guess what? Now she's talking about you with her friends. She's scrolling through your photos, trying to read your captions like secret messages, because her heart is searching for closure. But you didn't hand it over. You left it just out of reach. Not to hurt her, not to be cruel, but because you respected yourself enough to not beg for understanding. You don't need her to get it. You don't need her to agree. You don't need to explain your worth, because you are a man of peace now. Not noise, not drama, not chasing. And that peace, that stillness, it becomes magnetic. She's used to men who talk too much, who rush in with feelings, who throw their hearts on the table too fast. But you stayed in your frame. You walked away, not with anger, but with calm. And calm is unforgettable. So here's the truth. If you want to live like a king, you don't slam doors or write long speeches. You leave quiet clues and walk away like you already know your value. Because the man who doesn't need closure is the one who gets remembered the longest. Are you starting to see just how powerful this really is? Ever try to catch smoke with your hands? No matter how fast you move, it slips through your fingers. That's what a woman feels when she can't figure you out. And strangely, that mystery, it pulls her in even harder. Let's talk about something deep. Unfinished emotions. When you don't text her back too quickly. When you don't always explain where you are. When you don't tell her every little thought you have. It does something wild inside her brain. It creates space. And guess what happens in that space? She fills it. She fills it with curiosity, with questions, with imagination, with memories. Now she's thinking, did he mean something deeper when he looked at me like that? Why was he so calm when other guys would have begged me to stay? Is he with someone else, or is he just so focused on his life? You didn't say a word, but in her mind, you're everywhere. That's the magic of being unavailable just enough. Not to play games, but because you're truly living. You're busy chasing purpose, not people. You're building something bigger than a relationship. You're building yourself. That absence, that space where you used to be always available, now it's filled with mystery. And mystery is addictive. Here's what most men don't know. When you chase, when you explain, when you give too much clarity too fast, you take away the magic. You make it too easy, too obvious, too expected. But when you become like a riddle she can't solve, she leans in closer. She starts watching your moves more carefully. She starts caring more about what you're doing and who you're becoming. That's the power of leaving her thinking. You're not being mean. You're being a man who doesn't rush to be understood. You don't hand your heart away like a discount item. You let your energy speak for you. You leave small signs. Your calm eyes, your steady silence, your bold focus on your goals. And every time you don't give her full clarity, you give her something far more powerful. You give her the chance to wonder. Wonder keeps her connected to you, even when you're not around. So ask yourself, would you rather be a guy she figured out and forgot? Or the man she still thinks about at night, wondering what you're really feeling? The choice is yours. But the wise man knows. Sometimes silence speaks louder than 1,000 words. Why do some men walk away and still stay on her mind for years? Not because they were loud, not because they begged, but because they left behind something powerful, an emotional echo. Let's get real for a second. Women aren't always chasing a man. Sometimes they're chasing a feeling they once had when they were around you. That feeling when you looked at her, like she was the only woman in the room. But then you didn't chase. You didn't cling. You didn't ask for anything back. You gave her a piece of peace, and then you were gone. That moment, it doesn't just disappear. It stays in her mind, like a song that won't stop playing. Now she's wondering, why did he stop texting? Did I lose him? Was he even into me? And that right there is the secret sauce. Confusion creates interest, not because you're playing games, not because you're trying to hurt her, but because you're not trying to force clarity. You're not rushing to tie up every loose end. You're not sending long texts saying, just so you know, here's how I feel. Nope. You're just living in your calm, standing tall in your peace, and letting your silence do what words never could. And that makes her think, maybe you're not like the others. Maybe you're strong enough to walk away from things that don't feed your soul. Maybe you're too focused on your path to beg for attention, and that's rare. Most guys, they're scared to leave things open. They feel like they have to explain everything, fix everything, finish every sentence. But the high-value man, he lets the mystery sit. He knows the mind is curious. He knows what's not said becomes powerful. That's the art of leaving her wondering. You don't tell her, I miss you. Instead, you let your absence ask the question louder than words ever could. You don't tell her, I wanted more. You show her by not showing up where you're no longer appreciated. And this drives her wild, because she didn't get closure. She didn't get answers. She didn't get the final talk. She got silence. She got space. She got your distance. And that, my friend, can be louder than any goodbye. Have you ever noticed this strange thing? The more calm you become, the more she starts to panic. Not because you did something wrong, but because you didn't react when she expected you to. Let's dive deep now. See, most guys are always ready to argue. They send long texts. They call 5 times. They demand answers. But what happens when you do the opposite? What happens when you stay calm? When you don't chase? When you just breathe and walk away with peace? She feels it. That calm energy, that's your power. And it does something crazy to her mind. Because women aren't used to it. They're used to noise, drama, guys trying too hard, trying to be heard. But you're different. You let the storm rage outside while you sit still inside your peace. That's magnetic. That silence of yours, that chill, quiet, unbothered vibe, it doesn't make you invisible. It makes you mysterious. It makes her start asking, why isn't he trying to fix this? Why didn't he blow up like other guys? Why does he seem okay without me? And guess what? That's exactly when she starts missing you. Not when you're chasing, not when you're begging, not when you're proving, but when you're just being calm, being steady, being unavailable in the middle of chaos. That's the moment she starts realizing you're not addicted to her attention, you're addicted to your peace. And women admire that, because deep down, every woman wants a man she can trust to stay cool. Even when the world is on fire, if you can stay centered when she's testing you, if you can smile instead of snapping back, if you can walk away instead of falling apart, you win. You win her curiosity. You win her respect. And sometimes, you win her heart without even asking for it. Because in a world full of emotional chaos, your stillness becomes rare. It becomes gold. Want to know the next trick that most men never see coming? It's something that flips the entire game. What if I told you the moment you stop needing answers is the moment she starts asking the questions? Let's go deeper now. You know what drives most people crazy? Unanswered stories. A movie with no ending. A book with the last page missing. Our brains hate not knowing. We want to solve everything. We want things wrapped in a neat little box, tied with a bow, signed with a goodbye. But here's the twist. When you stop needing to close the chapter, when you stop asking why did she leave, or what did I do wrong, you become the one in control, because you're not chasing closure anymore. You're creating mystery. And guess what? She starts to feel it. You're not chasing the old story. You're writing a new one. And she doesn't have the pen anymore. You do. She starts wondering things like, why didn't he ask for closure? Why is he okay without me? Is he moving on, or was he never that attached? See that? Now her mind is busy with you, even though you've said nothing. That's the power of your absence plus silence plus purpose. And here's the truth, most guys never learn. Women don't just crave closure. They crave it most when they don't get it. If you vanish in peace without shouting, without begging, without needing her to explain herself, she stays curious. And curiosity turns into thinking. And thinking can turn into missing. And missing leads her right back to your story. Not because you tricked her, but because you walked away like a man who doesn't need to fix the past, because he's too busy building his future. That's not mind games. That's just mental strength. That's what she can't resist. So here's the question. What happens when you stop being a chapter in her story and become a whole mystery book she can't stop thinking about? Want to unlock that in the next stage? Have you ever seen someone stare at their phone over and over, hoping for a message that never comes? That's not silence. That's power. Let's break something important down. Most guys believe that words fix everything. They think, if I just explain myself better, if I say the perfect thing, If I send the right text, she'll come back. But here's the truth. Words don't change feelings. Energy does. And when your energy shifts from chasing to choosing, everything about you starts to feel different. You stop needing to talk. You stop needing to convince. You don't beg. You don't explain. You just live. Now watch what happens. She starts to feel your shift, even if you haven't said a word. Why? Because energy isn't in what you say. It's in what you no longer say. She notices that you're not watching her stories, not replying in 2 seconds, not checking in with her, just wondering how you are. And guess what? Her mind starts spinning. Wait, is he done with me? Did he really move on? Why does it feel like he doesn't need me anymore? That's the moment it hits her. The silence becomes loud. The quiet starts screaming. And it's not because you're playing games. It's because you're growing. Because your focus is no longer on fixing her feelings. It's on building your peace. You don't chase. You create space. You don't explain. You expand your life. You don't shout. You glow. Now, here's something wild to think about. When you give silence with strength, not with bitterness or hate, you give her the one thing she can't get anywhere else. Mystery plus respect. And women don't forget how that feels, because it's rare, it's valuable. So I'll ask you this. What do you think happens when she realizes that the man who once needed her attention now lives without needing her at all? Ever wonder why she starts remembering your smile only after you stop showing up? It's not by chance. It's because you became rare. Let's go even deeper. When you're always there, texting her back fast, asking if she's okay, always trying to make things right, she doesn't have time to miss you. And without space, there's no mystery. And without mystery, there's no craving. But here's the secret. No one teaches you. When you step back to focus on your world, she starts to feel a strange pull. A pull toward what's not finished. A pull toward the story that was never fully explained. Why? Because the mind wants to close loops. And when you don't give her full clarity, when you leave behind questions instead of answers, you become a story that lingers. You're not being cruel, you're being calm. You're not being distant, you're being centered. You're not ignoring her, you're building you. And every time she checks your page, every time she wonders, what's he doing now? That's not control. That's attraction through curiosity. Let me ask you this. Have you ever walked out of a movie halfway through? You spend days wondering how it ends, right? That's exactly how she feels. When you walk away without making a big scene, when you don't break things with harsh words, you simply leave it open. That quiet exit, that unfinished ending. That's the hook she can't resist, because you gave her something no one else gives, an open door that only you hold the key to. She doesn't want to walk through it right away. She wants to peek through, wonder, daydream, crave. And you're not sitting by the door. You're out building a castle. You're not proving anything to her, because you already know your worth. She'll come looking, not for answers, but to feel what she lost, ready to unlock the final truth. What if I told you? She doesn't actually want answers. She wants to feel something, not facts, not logic, but a wave of emotion she can't explain or stop. Let's break it down, real slow. Most guys think closure means talking it out or ending things properly. They sit down, try to explain their side. They say things like, "I just wanted you to understand. I didn't want to hurt you. Let's be honest with each other." Sounds kind, right? But here's the truth. She doesn't remember the words. She remembers the feeling of your energy, your silence, your confidence, your stillness when everything else feels loud. When you give her too much clarity, it ends the story. She boxes it up, closes the lid, and moves on. But when you leave behind a puzzle, not a full map, but a few powerful pieces, her mind keeps playing the game. You become the moment she replays at night, the image that flashes when a song hits, the question she keeps coming back to. Did he care more than he showed? Was he really done? Did I lose a man? Or did he just choose himself? And guess what? That's not manipulation. That's presence without pressure. That's value without begging. That's a man on purpose. The man she feels, even in the silence. Because in that silence, you don't explain yourself. You let her feel who you are. No chasing, no fixing, no begging for peace. You are the peace. And that, my friend, is what drives her crazy in the best way. Because while boys chase comfort, men create storms, then sit calmly in the center of them. You're not angry. You're not cold. You're not bitter. You're clear. And clarity with mystery, that's a fire she can't blow out. But wait, you ready for the final piece? She doesn't miss your words. She misses your weight. Not the weight of your body, the weight of your energy. That quiet pull she felt when you walked in. That calm power in your eyes. That mystery in your silence. That was never just attraction. It was gravity. And guess what? When you live with detachment, with purpose, with peace, you don't chase her mind. You live inside it. You become that unsolved mystery, that calm storm, that man she can't label, predict, or replace. And here's what most men never learn. A woman doesn't want a man she can control. She doesn't crave a man who needs her. She desires a man she has to earn access to. A man who protects his time like a king guards his crown. So while other guys are texting her all day, telling her they miss her, begging for closure, you're building, you're growing, you're becoming more solid every single day. Not louder, not angrier, not needier, just still, just certain, just you. Because real Stoic wisdom isn't about shutting down. It's about staying calm when the world shakes. It's about keeping your eyes on your mission while others beg for attention. It's about creating your own peace, even if she doesn't understand it right now. And when she's lying there one night asking herself, why does he feel so far away? And why do I miss it? You'll already have your answer. You didn't disappear. You didn't play games. You just became the man she couldn't hold because you were too focused on your kingdom. She craves closure. But a man like you don't give her the ending. You give her the echo. And that echo, it never fades.